Welcome to Tyler's Weather Corner, and this is a video about the very first chase I did of the year in February, and it was very goofy, but it had a lot of random back and forth, some chasing, met some new fun, awesome people, and this will be a shorter one, because the first one was just the first chase, but it was great. So let's just jump in. At the end of this time-lapse here, I get to the first storm of the day, which didn't end up dropping anything, but I end up going into some crazy chaser convergence. Anyway, here's a dope-ass time-lapse of the storm we got. By the time we got to this random house here, we had some trouble catching up to the parent supercell that was trying to produce a tornado, but I don't think it ever ended up doing it. But there was a really close call that happened here. There was a dog that was kind of just roaming about and jumped out in front of my car, and I had to get onto the shoulder a little bit. So here's that coming up here. It was a little crazy, and I definitely had a bit of a mini heart attack there. But had that gone really south, that my chase would have probably ended for the rest of the day, because that poor guy would have needed to be taken care of. By this point, chaser convergence was starting to happen as everyone was trying to catch up to the supercell. There's Brandon Kopik here joining the conga line as we just kind of converge, and it just turns into dozens of vehicles in a line, and we fall very far behind in a slow pace because of some people up front driving a little bit too passive for storm chase standards, let's just say. I want to emphasize, though, you gotta always be safe chasing. I can't fault them for being extra careful. So, to the chasers out there, don't drive like a crazy person if it's like gonna do something stupid and get somebody hurt. So this is where I make my first mistake of the day. I decide to branch off and try to go north onto a bridge to catch up to the cells in Indiana, while CJ goes west ahead of time for the second round of storms that are hitting central Illinois. So after I realize I can't catch up to the storms in Indiana in time, I also punch west 30 minutes behind as fast as I can as the sun starts to set. I do manage to catch up to the second round of storms that are hitting Illinois, and by the time the sun sets, I see up ahead of me there's two supercells next to each other that both have a rotation signature. The one in the rear on the west side looks a little bit more interesting at the time, but I decide to stay ahead and go to the eastern one, hoping to hopefully get something from there before I let the one behind it catch up to me. I do got one more time lapse for you, and I will say the storm does produce a tornado, so stay tuned. At the end of that, you'll see it coming down under the ground. So I hope you guys sit back and relax and just enjoy this buildup. I got there just in time to see the tornado had just touched down at like 3 minutes before. It's a mostly uncondensed EF0, but it was still there. It was really cool to watch. And here's a slow-mo of that. And I was very happy with what I got that day, even though it wasn't much. It was the first chase of the year. I got the first tornado of the year under my belt, and I chased with some really cool people. So I'll take it as a win.